Welcome back to Triple P, People Past Present. On this episode, we will be talking about the grave mistrust and intolerance existing in the Caribbean. Today's Caribbean society, there are immense levels of mistrust and intolerance. To better explain this, we have with us sociologists Catherine Smith and Jumani Roberts. We also have renowned historians Hakil Smith, Shante Clark, Tassia Reed, and Michaela Parker. Firstly, I'd like to know your views on the topic. Is society characterized by grave intolerance and mistrust?
Yes, I do believe that the society is characterized by mistrust and grave intolerance that are stemming from the days of slavery. This includes the way the society is stratified, which is based on a person's wealth and skin color. For example, people with a higher skin color is more privileged to get better paying jobs in our society.
Can you give evidence that highlights the extent of mistrust and intolerance in modern society?
So a perfect example of this would be the introduction of the CCJ. So currently 4 Caribbean countries use it as the final court of appeal. However, there are lots of irrational arguments against making it the final court of appeal for all Caribbean islands. So on one end, people are saying that the judges would be susceptible to corruption, which is a perfect example of mistrust. Like they don't have any faith in the judicial system. They also believe that the Privy Council is sufficient as our final appellate court, notwithstanding that many issues could arise, seeing that there are people in England, so they would not necessarily be able to have sensitivities towards Caribbean issues. And people are also of the belief that they would not have enough professionals, for example, judges and attorneys, to work in that area. First of all, we have many institutions that train people in areas of law, and also it would provide meaningful employment to a lot of persons, seeing that many people in the legal profession are struggling to get jobs after leaving law school. So employing persons to work in the CCJ would also prevent brain drain from the region. So this also goes to show that we are intolerant of new ideas, because most of our laws come from the British system and we're trying to implement things that are closer to home. So it just shows that people are intolerant of new ideas that could possibly help to benefit the region.
So homosexuality is another example of intolerance. So in today's society, people refuse to tolerate and respect this unusual group in every aspect, such as politically, culturally, and socially. So as it pertains to politics, there is a burglary law in effect in 9 countries in the Caribbean, such as Barbados, Jamaica, St. Kitts and Nevis, Dominica, Grenada, Antigua, and Barbuda. So basically this shows that homosexuality is not tolerated because even the government enforces law. So the Caribbean is a homophobic territory. Therefore, with the burglary law in effect, most homosexuals won't display their homosexual behavior in public, which prevent people in society from harming them. As a result, the law forces them to conceal their identity and hope not to be discovered if they do not want to lose their civil rights. Therefore, the government examined the negative impact homosexuality have on the society. Now, as it relates to culture,
as it relates to intolerance against homosexuality, we see this in our culture where in our music, the musicians promote violence against the LGBT community. We see artists like Buju Banton singing songs like Boom Bye Bye in a Batman head, Cartel sing say gay people must die, and so much more.
just to add on to what you are saying, my dear friend. So homosexuals are affected by the stigma of the population therefore they have to isolate themselves from society because they are kicked out of their own household by parents who do not tolerate this. So even parents in today's society do not tolerate this. And they are forced to live on the bridge and cannot get any work in workplaces.
So, how can you relate this back to identity?
Well, that's a very good, interesting question. So let me just use Creole. Yes, Creole. Yeah, Creole. So Creole language is another characteristic of the Caribbean culture which can be used to identify the Caribbean. Back in the days of slavery, the people that were colonizers spoke Spanish, French, Dutch, and other languages. They wanted to force their languages on the slave, but they put up all forms of resistance. So they wanted to force their languages on the slaves, but they put up all forms of resistance to their colonial oppressors, even up to this day, with their Creole languages. As a result, each territory in the Caribbean developed their own unique Creole, which continues to evolve to the younger generation. Therefore, the Caribbean territory is intolerant as they did not accept colonial languages, but instead mixed African, Native, European, and non-European languages to create their own styles. Hold on.
Okay, can someone tell me how does cohesion and unity relates to the Caribbean identity?
Alright, so cohesion and unity as it relates to Caribbean identity. Okay, as the Jamaican motto states, out of many one people. Okay, we Jamaicans have perfect the art of welcoming people of all races, class, culture, color, and income across the world. Okay, the motto, out of many one people, reflects the diversity of Jamaican people being mixed races, cultures, and religion. For example, there are a combination of Africans, American, Indians, Chinese, Europeans, and so forth.
The following ethnic groups were just stated. All those ethnic groups are found in the Caribbean. We can say the Caribbean is made up of ethnic groups from all over the world. So, cohesion and unity in the Caribbean can also be looked to as the forming of CARICOM. CARICOM was founded to bring Caribbean countries together, countries with different beliefs, religion, culture, and all aspects. But they had a similar goal to uplift each other and to move forward together and to integrate one another. This shows unity among the Caribbean and its people.